World Health Organization announced that they want to reduce global TB deaths by 95% and diagnoses by 90% by the year 2035. Joining me in studio is Dr. Helen Cox from UCT to talk about the state of TB in South Africa. Thank you for sitting down with me.
It's a pleasure.
Well, on that note, why don't you tell me why TB is so prevalent in South Africa?
Well, TB is the classic disease of poverty, and unfortunately South Africa still has a lot of poverty, and there's still a lot of unequal distribution of wealth, and so there's always been a TB problem in South Africa. And then unfortunately in the last 20 years the HIV epidemic hit South Africa, and HIV makes people much more susceptible to TB disease. And so these two diseases work together.
Almost link to
exactly. So that's why we have such a problem with TB in South Africa today. It's both poverty and continued poverty and the HIV epidemic as well.
And what are some of the factors that lead to TB spreading?
Well, I guess the most common one is lack of treatment and lack of diagnosis.
Okay.
So it takes too long to diagnose people, and therefore they spread TB to other people. TB is an airborne infectious disease. So if you don't diagnose and you don't treat, then it will spread to other people before they get treatment.
Now, is that due to lack of resources or just lack of education?
Well, it's actually, it's due to the fact that actually TB is a neglected disease generally, globally.
Okay.
So up until very recently, we were still using a test that was developed more than 100 years ago to diagnose TB, and it's a very poor test. And it's not a very good test. It only diagnoses TB very late. It doesn't diagnose TB very well in HIV-infected people, not in children.
Wow.
And our drugs are not very good. So it takes 6 months to cure TB. So, so our tools are not very good.
How do we improve those tools?
Well, I think it requires much more commitment, and by commitment, it's political commitment, which leads to resources, both globally and nationally, in high-burden countries like South Africa.